Frozen circuits are a concept that refers to the deeply entrenched neural pathways in our brains, which are formed as a result of intense and emotionally charged experiences. These experiences, particularly those that are profound and impactful, have a lasting effect on our neural architecture. When an event strikes us with significant emotional force, our brain works to encode this experience deeply into our neural circuitry, effectively freezing it into our memory. The mechanism behind the formation of these frozen circuits is rooted in the brain's natural response to emotional stimuli. When we encounter a highly emotional event, our brain's limbic system, responsible for processing emotions, becomes highly active. This heightened activity leads to the strengthening of neural connections associated with the event. Each time we recall or think about these events, we reinforce these connections, further solidifying their presence in our brain. This constant reinforcement creates a cycle where we become trapped in reliving the past. These memories are not just faint recollections, but are vivid reenactments in our mind, often accompanied by the same emotional intensity as the original event. This repetitive cycle is not merely a mental phenomenon. It has tangible effects on our physiology. The emotions associated with these memories trigger a cascade of biochemical responses in our body, mirroring those that occurred during the initial event. As a result, both our brain and body become conditioned to remain anchored in these past experiences. This conditioning extends beyond mere memory recall and influences our current perception and reactions. We may find ourselves reacting to present situations in ways that are disproportionately influenced by these past events. For instance, a person who has experienced betrayal may perceive threats in benign actions, or someone who has suffered loss may find it hard to form new attachments. Moreover, these frozen circuits can lead to a skewed interpretation of new experiences. Our brain, using these entrenched pathways, may filter and interpret incoming information based on past experiences rather than the present reality. This can lead to a distorted perception of current events, relationships, and even self image. This phenomenon also explains why certain emotional responses or states can feel inescapable, or why some patterns of behavior seem so difficult to change, despite conscious efforts to move on or react differently. These frozen circuits can keep pulling us back into past emotional states and responses. When we habitually focus on past experiences, especially those that are emotionally charged, it alters the way we perceive the world around us. Our brains, relying on these entrenched memories, begin to interpret current experiences through the filter of our past. This skewed perception is not just a slight deviation from reality, it profoundly impacts how we see and interact with everything around us. This process of viewing the present through the lens of the past often leads us to draw inaccurate conclusions about people and situations. We may find ourselves attributing motives, feelings, or intentions to others that are more reflective of our past experiences than their current actions. For instance, if someone in our past betrayed our trust, we might be overly suspicious or guarded around new individuals, perceiving threats where there may be none. This misinterpretation can lead to misunderstandings, conflicts, and missed opportunities for meaningful connections. Furthermore, this overlay of memory onto reality can trap us in a cycle of reactivity. Instead of responding to people and situations based on their intrinsic qualities or the actual dynamics at play, our responses are colored by past emotions and experiences. This reactivity can hinder our ability to engage genuinely and constructively with others, limiting our capacity for growth and new experiences. In addition, this distorted view can affect our self perception. We may start to define ourselves based on these past experiences, seeing ourselves through a lens of past failures, hurts, or disappointments. This self perception can become a self fulfilling prophecy where we unconsciously act in ways that reinforce our skewed view of ourselves, further entrenching these past experiences in our identity. The continual overlay of memory onto our current reality also robs us of the richness and diversity of life. Each moment and each interaction is unique, but when viewed through the past filter, this uniqueness is obscured. We may find ourselves stuck in a pattern of experiences that feel all too familiar, not because the world lacks variety, but because our perception has been narrowed by the past. Moreover, this approach to life can lead to a general sense of dissatisfaction and disillusionment. When we are unable to see and appreciate the new and different, life can seem monotonous and unfulfilling. We may long for change, but feel unable to achieve it because our perception, locked into past patterns, cannot envision a different reality. Our lives are significantly influenced by how we react to situations that remind us of past events. When we encounter circumstances that bear similarity to these previous experiences, they act as triggers, activating the emotional and neural networks linked to those past events. This activation causes a cascade of reactions in our body and mind, often leading us to respond as if we are reliving the original event. These reactions are usually automatic, deeply rooted in the emotional memory embedded within our neural pathways. This process of reacting to present events based on past experiences can be subtle or overt. For instance, a tone of voice, a particular phrase, or even a certain environment can evoke a response that is disproportionate to the actual situation, but is deeply connected to a past event. This misalignment between the present reality and our reaction to it is primarily due to our brain's tendency to prioritize emotional memories, particularly those that are intense and significant. As we continue to respond to current situations based on these past triggers, we reinforce the neural pathways associated with these memories, further solidifying their influence over our behavior and emotional responses. This reinforcement makes it increasingly challenging to respond to new experiences in fresh and objective ways. Instead, our reactions are colored by the emotions and perceptions of our past, leading to a repetitive cycle of behavior and emotional response. This cycle of reacting based on past experiences has far reaching implications for our personal growth and relationships. It can lead to misunderstandings and conflicts in relationships, as our reactions may be based on past hurts or traumas rather than the intentions or behaviors of the current individual involved. This can strain relationships, creating barriers to intimacy and trust. Moreover, these habitual reactions can make us feel trapped in our past. As we continue to respond to the present in ways that echo our past experiences, we may feel as though we are not making progress in our personal development. This feeling of being stuck can lead to frustration, a sense of helplessness, and even despair, as it seems like we are unable to break free from the patterns established by our past. Additionally, this cycle can prevent us from fully experiencing and enjoying the present. Our focus on past triggered reactions can overshadow the unique qualities and opportunities of current situations. We may miss out on the joy of new experiences and the learning that comes with facing new challenges because our perspective is clouded by past emotions and perceptions. Breaking free from the grip of frozen circuits, which are deeply entrenched patterns of thought and emotion stemming from past experiences, requires a proactive and conscious effort. This process is fundamentally about redirecting and transforming energy within ourselves, particularly through our mental and emotional centers. At the core of this transformative process is the concept of life force energy, often referred to in various traditions as chi, prana, or simply vital energy. This energy is believed to be the driving force behind all living beings, a dynamic flow that sustains and enlivens us. In the context of overcoming frozen circuits, the goal is to release and channel this life force energy in specific ways to counteract the effects of past emotional imprints. The process begins with the activation and release of this energy into the brain. This step often involves practices like meditation, deep breathing, or mindfulness exercises. These practices help in calming the mind, reducing the chatter and noise of constant thought, and creating a state of mental clarity and alertness. This clarity is crucial for redirecting energy in a focused and intentional manner. Simultaneously, there's a focus on blessing or activating the energy centers within the body. These centers, often referred to as chakras in Eastern traditions, are seen as key points in our body where energy accumulates and can be harnessed. By focusing on these centers, we can begin to unlock and mobilize the energy trapped within them. Techniques such as visualization, meditation on specific chakras, or even physical exercises like yoga can be used to engage these centers. Directing this energy upwards is the next critical step. The upward movement of energy is symbolic of moving from lower, more base emotional states, often associated with the past experiences in the frozen circuits, to higher, more refined states of consciousness. This upward movement can be visualized as a flow of energy starting from the base of the spine and moving upwards through the body, passing through each energy center, and finally reaching the crown of the head, symbolizing a state of higher consciousness and awareness. Engaging in these practices serves multiple purposes. Firstly, it helps to dissipate the strength and influence of frozen circuits. By moving energy through and around these entrenched neural pathways, we can begin to loosen their grip on our present experiences and reactions. This loosening allows for more flexibility in our thoughts and emotions, providing a pathway for new responses and perceptions. Additionally, these practices encourage a greater sense of presence. When our energy is focused and flowing, we are more likely to be anchored in the current moment, not distracted by past memories or future anxieties. This presence is vital for experiencing life more fully and responding to current situations based on their own merits, rather than through the lens of past experiences. From a quantum perspective, the concept of holding on to past grievances can be understood as the creation of energetic bonds or connections with the individuals and experiences that have caused us pain or harm. These energetic bonds are more than just metaphors. They represent the tangible influence that past hurts continue to exert on our present emotional and mental states. Every time we revisit these grievances, whether consciously or unconsciously, we reinforce these bonds, giving them more power and allowing them to dictate our current feelings and reactions. Forgiveness within this quantum framework is seen as a process of severing these energetic ties. It's important to note that this concept of forgiveness is not just about letting go of anger or resentment towards another person. It's about fundamentally altering our emotional state in relation to the past experiences that continue to bind us. By changing how we emotionally engage with these memories, we begin the process of disentangling ourselves from their grip. Lowering the emotional intensity associated with past grievances is a key step in this process. When we are able to view past hurts with less emotional charge, we stop feeding energy into these connections. Over time, as we continue to detach emotionally from these events, the energetic bonds begin to weaken. This weakening is a critical step towards reclaiming our energy that was previously tied up in maintaining these emotional connections to the past. Reclaiming our energy from these bonds leads to a profound moment of release and liberation. This moment can be experienced as a sudden sense of lightness or relief, a deep inner peace, or even a newfound sense of freedom. It's as if we've been carrying a weight that we've become so accustomed to, we no longer noticed it until it's gone. This release is not just psychological, it has physical and energetic dimensions. We might find ourselves feeling more vital, more present, and more engaged with life. Additionally, this process of forgiveness and release can have significant health benefits. Emotional stress, particularly the kind that stems from holding on to past grievances, can have a detrimental impact on our physical well being. By releasing these stresses, we can potentially alleviate their negative effects on our health, such as high blood pressure, anxiety, and depression. Furthermore, this quantum view of forgiveness as an energetic process opens up new avenues for healing and personal growth. It suggests that forgiveness is not just a moral or emotional task, but a process of energetic hygiene, essential for maintaining our emotional and psychological well being. It shifts the focus from the external act of forgiving another to the internal process of altering our own energetic state. When we engage in emotions such as love and compassion, our bodies respond in kind, releasing a hormone known as oxytocin. Often referred to as the love hormone, oxytocin is produced in the hypothalamus and released into the bloodstream through the pituitary gland. This hormone is most commonly associated with social bonding, maternal behaviors, and trust, but its role extends far beyond these aspects. The release of oxytocin as we experience elevated emotions plays a transformative role in our emotional health and well being. When we are filled with feelings of love and compassion, oxytocin acts to override negative emotions such as grudges, resentment, and anger. This is not just a subjective emotional shift, it's a physiological change that alters how our brain and body respond to emotional stimuli. Oxytocin's presence in the brain has a calming effect, particularly on the amygdala, which is the brain's center for fear and emotional processing. By lowering the activity in this area, oxytocin reduces feelings of fear and anxiety, which are often at the root of grudges and resentment. This calming effect helps to cool down the neural circuits related to suffering and pain, allowing us to move away from past hurts and towards a state of emotional equilibrium. Furthermore, oxytocin enhances our capacity for empathy and connection with others. This enhancement is crucial in the process of forgiveness. By increasing our ability to understand and feel the emotions of others, oxytocin makes it easier to see beyond our own hurt, to recognize the humanity in others, and to foster a sense of shared experience. This empathetic connection is often the first step in letting go of past grievances. The hormone also plays a role in fostering a profound love for life. This love is not limited to romantic or familial love, but encompasses a broader appreciation and joy for existence itself. In this heightened state, our focus shifts from dwelling on past injuries to embracing the present and the myriad possibilities it holds. This shift is a critical component of forgiveness, as it moves us away from ruminating on past wrongs and towards a future of positive possibilities. Additionally, oxytocin's effects extend beyond the emotional to the physical. It can reduce blood pressure and cortisol levels, both of which are often elevated in states of chronic stress and anger. This reduction has a cascading effect on our overall health, promoting a state of physical relaxation that mirrors our emotional relaxation, further aiding in the process of forgiveness. True transformation, a profound and lasting change, involves a fundamental shift in our personality. This shift necessitates altering the very fabric of our being, our thoughts, habits, behaviors, and emotional responses, most of which are deeply rooted in our past experiences. These elements of our personality have been shaped and molded over time, influenced by our interactions, experiences, and the emotional imprints they've left behind. To create a new reality, one that is different from our past and our present, we need to break free from these old patterns and forge a new path for ourselves. The reason many attempts at transformation fail is that they are initiated without addressing the underlying personality traits that need to evolve. Trying to create a new reality with the same mindset, emotional patterns, and behaviors that were developed in response to past experiences is akin to walking in circles, expecting to find a new destination. Our personality, as it currently stands, is a product of our past, our experiences, our reactions to those experiences, and the lessons we've internalized from them. For change to be effective, It must involve becoming a different version of ourselves, one that is not bound by the limitations and patterns of the past. This transformation is not about discarding our true selves, but rather evolving and expanding beyond the confines of our current personality. It involves critically examining our thoughts and questioning whether they serve our growth or hold us back. It requires us to look at our habitual behaviors and ask if they align with the person we aspire to be. It means being mindful of our emotional responses and considering if they are reactions to the present moment or echoes of the past. Changing our personality in this way involves a conscious effort to align our thoughts and feelings with the state of being we aspire to. This alignment is not a one time event, but a continuous process. It involves consistently choosing thoughts and actions that reflect our desired future self. It requires practicing new ways of thinking, feeling, and behaving until they become as natural to us as our old patterns once were. Furthermore, this transformation often requires a reevaluation of our values and beliefs. Our values and beliefs are the guiding principles of our lives, and they significantly influence our personality. If our current values and beliefs are out of sync with the person we wish to become, it becomes imperative to reassess and realign them with our aspirations. This journey of transformation also involves developing emotional intelligence, the ability to recognize, understand, and manage our own emotions and the emotions of others. Emotional intelligence is key in navigating the complex landscape of changing one's personality. It helps in managing the discomfort that often accompanies stepping out of our comfort zone and breaking old patterns. Moreover, true transformation is holistic. It encompasses not only our mental and emotional selves, but also our physical and spiritual aspects. It may involve changing our physical habits, such as diet and exercise, to support our mental and emotional changes, It could also involve engaging in spiritual practices that resonate with our new aspirational state of being. True transformation is an all encompassing process that requires a fundamental change in our personality. It involves altering our thoughts, habits, behaviors, and emotional responses that are anchored in the past. Successful transformation requires us to evolve into a version of ourselves that aligns with our aspirations, encompassing not just mental and emotional changes, but also physical and spiritual ones. This change is a journey that involves continuous effort, reassessment of our values and beliefs, and the development of emotional intelligence.